The coastal city of Natal, Brazil, recently played host to a gathering of global significance. This picturesque city, known for its stunning beaches and vibrant culture, became the epicenter of a crucial dialogue on a pressing global health issue. Leaders and health experts from the G20 nations assembled to address a pressing issue: antimicrobial resistance, or AMR. This gathering brought together some of the brightest minds and most influential policymakers in the world. This silent pandemic, as it's often called, poses a grave threat to global health security. Unlike other pandemics that make headlines, AMR quietly undermines our ability to treat infections, making even minor injuries potentially fatal. The G20, recognizing the urgency of the situation, made AMR a central focus of their Health Working Group meeting. This decision underscores the critical nature of the threat and the need for a coordinated global response. The summit in Natal provided a platform for these nations to discuss strategies, share knowledge, and forge partnerships. It was a rare opportunity for countries to come together, transcending political and economic differences to tackle a common enemy. The goal to curb the spread of AMR and mitigate its devastating consequences. This involves not only developing new antibiotics, but also ensuring their responsible use and preventing the misuse that accelerates resistance. The stakes could not be higher. The potential consequences of inaction are dire, with the possibility of returning to a time when simple infections were a death sentence. Failure to act decisively could plunge the world into a post-antibiotic era. In such a scenario, the medical advances of the last century could be rendered useless, and routine surgeries and treatments could become life-threatening. In such a world, common infections could once again become deadly. The impact on public health, economies, and societies would be catastrophic, affecting every aspect of life. The G20's decision to prioritize AMR reflects a growing global awareness of the problem. This collective recognition is a crucial first step towards mobilizing the resources and political will needed to combat AMR effectively. This is not just an issue for individual countries to solve in isolation. The interconnected nature of our world means that AMR is a global problem, requiring a global solution. AMR transcends borders, affecting people of all nations and socioeconomic backgrounds. It is a stark reminder that in the face of such threats, our differences pale in comparison to our shared vulnerabilities. The interconnected nature of our world means that a resistant strain of bacteria emerging in one corner of the globe can quickly spread to others. This rapid spread underscores the need for international cooperation and vigilance. The summit in Natal served as a stark reminder of the shared responsibility we have in combating this global health emergency. It highlighted the importance of solidarity and collective action in the face of a common threat. The message was clear. Collective action is not just desirable, it's essential. The fight against AMR requires a united front, with countries working together to implement effective strategies and policies. The decisions made and the commitments pledged in Natal will have far-reaching implications for the fight against AMR. These commitments represent a significant step forward in our global efforts to preserve the efficacy of antibiotics. The world is watching, hoping that this gathering will mark a turning point in our efforts to preserve the efficacy of these life-saving drugs. The success of these efforts will depend on sustained commitment and collaboration from all nations involved. Antimicrobial resistance, or AMR, is often referred to as a silent pandemic for a reason. It creeps up on us, unnoticed, until it becomes a significant threat. It doesn't grab headlines with the same immediacy as a novel virus or a sudden outbreak. The slow and insidious nature of AMR makes it a less sensational story, but no less dangerous. However, its impact on global health is no less profound. The silent spread of resistant bacteria and other microbes is a ticking time bomb. The numbers tell a grim story. Each year, an estimated 700,000 people die from drug-resistant infections worldwide. This figure is not just a statistic, it represents real lives lost, families shattered, and communities affected. If left unchecked, AMR could claim 10 million lives annually by 2050, surpassing even cancer as a leading cause of death. This projection is a stark reminder of the potential future we face. The economic repercussions are equally staggering. A report by the World Bank estimates that AMR could cost the global economy up to $100 trillion by mid-century. This financial burden would strain healthcare systems, reduce productivity, and hinder economic growth. These figures underscore the urgency with which we must address this crisis. The time to act is now, before the situation spirals out of control. The burden of AMR falls disproportionately on low and middle-income countries. These regions often face the dual challenge of high disease burden and limited healthcare infrastructure. These nations often lack the resources to implement robust surveillance systems, infection control measures, and antimicrobial stewardship programs. The lack of infrastructure exacerbates the problem, making it harder to track and control the spread of resistance. The result is a vicious cycle where high rates of infectious diseases drive the overuse and misuse of antimicrobials, fueling the development and spread of resistance. This cycle is difficult to break without significant intervention and support. The G20 summit in Natal provided a platform to highlight these inequalities and advocate for increased support to resource-constrained countries. International cooperation and commitment are essential to address this global threat. Addressing the global challenge of AMR requires a concerted and equitable approach, ensuring that all nations have the means to combat this threat effectively. Collaboration, innovation, and sustained effort are key to turning the tide against antimicrobial resistance.